What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. It is Throwback Thursday, and this Throwback Thursday is dedicated to all of my HBCUs out there. So, Drumline is one of the movies that highlights a fictitious Atlanta A&T University, okay? And it follows a young drummer from New York, played by Nick Cannon, and he bumps heads with the leader of the school's drum section. Zoe Saldana is also in the movie as the head dancer. And it revolves around Devon Miles, right? So he just graduated from high school in New York City. He heads down to Atlanta, Georgia to attend Atlanta A&T University, which is a historically Black college, who takes enormous pride in their marching band. So he befriends fellow bandmates Charles, Jason, and Ernest. Devon was personally invited to attend on a full scholarship by Dr. Lee, who is the head of the band, for his prestigious talents. The A&T band separates itself from its competitors by requiring all its members to read music, by focusing on various styles of music rather than what's popular on the radio. Y'all remember that Flight of the Bumblebee? Okay. And dedication to the teamwork emphasized by one band, one sound, which I still say that just randomly at times. I love this movie though, y'all. It was such an amazing script. When he heads down to preseason band camp where they have to go through all kind of hazing, physical and mental, challenges designed to push them past what they thought were their limits. And at the end of the preseason, the musicians audition for a spot on the field, and Devon is the only freshman to make a P1, which is the highest level. Okay. And y'all remember the upperclassmen, they would show, what they thought that the auditions earned by beeping their horns and flashing their lights. And so they gave him the highest rating, a P1. While going through all this rigorous process, Devon also finds time to romance an upperclassman dancer named Laila, who's played by Zoe Saldana. So college, life starts well for Devon. He has a girlfriend and he has a spot on the field, but things begin to go downhill when the percussion leader, Big Brother Almighty, Sean, right? They go at it. And, he's tired of Devon's cocky attitude. So he challenges Devon to take his solo in the first game. And, Devon's humiliated because, like any freshman, he freezes up. Okay. It's a lot for a freshman, which ultimately this upsets Dr. Lee. So, as punishment, Dr. Lee orders Sean to clean the drums, which, of course, is a freshman or a P4's job, typically. But the students aren't the only ones that, was getting heat, because the school's president, President Wagner, told Dr. Lee to change the focus, from his music from classical Flight of the Bumblebee to entertainment. Otherwise, he could lose his funding. And Dr. Lee, he does not want to give Devon any more playing time because of his lack of respect and selfish attitude. Then he learns that he lied on his college application about knowing how to read music. So then Devon is demoted from a P1 to a P4, okay, until he learns how to read music. So he takes classes, and then he's actually put back on the P1 line. He's put back on the drum line by President Wagner, who pressures Dr. Lee to do so. Okay. So then, Devon starts feeling himself. He starts feeling himself, and the homecoming game gets, tensions are high with the other school, and they end up scrapping and fighting on the field. So then Devon is then expelled from the band by Dr. Lee. And the fight also strains his relationship with Laila, who's embarrassed to introduce him to her parents when they attended the homecoming game, which I don't blame her. I would be embarrassed too. You know what I'm saying? You out there fighting on the field over some drums, okay? So then Devon reaches out to the school's rival, Morris Brown College, which is a real HBCU. Shout out to Morris Brown. to discuss, playing for their band possibly next year. So Mr. Wade, who's played by J. Anthony Brown, the comedian, he says he doesn't care if Devon knows how to read music and that he'll likely get a full scholarship and a good position on the drumline. But he wants to know what Dr. Lee is planning for the BET Big Southern Classic, which is a large competition between the college bands. So then Devon realizes that Mr. Wade is, he's no good. And he's just trying to use him to steal A&T's performance plans. So he goes back to A&T, and, after he's just completely disgusted with Mr. Wade and himself, he rejects their scholarship. And he's like, okay, he's ready to do the work, right? So even though he's not playing for the band, he refuses to give up his drumming. So after receiving cassette tapes from his estranged father, Ray, Devon gets inspiration for new drum arrangements. So then Devon goes to present these ideas to the band, and him and Sean have a final confrontation where they clear the air and they begin to work together. So the two present their idea for the entrance cadence to Dr. Lee, who decides to use them for the classic. So Devon helps the band prepare for the classic and patches up things with his relationship with Laila. In his appreciation for all of his help, getting the band ready for the classic and being impressed with Devon's maturing and growth, Dr. Lee tells Devon that he can return to the band the following school year. So at the BET Classic, the bands are shown performing a mixture of popular songs. Morris Brown, y'all, they got P.D. Pablo to roll on the field with a car, okay, and perform during their routine. But A&T, they weren't phased, okay, because they perform the 70s, I Want You Back. And actually, I was a part of a marching band who did something similar even before Drumline came out. So shout out to Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 and the 70s show, because we, we did our thing back then. So a tie results in Morris Brown and A&T drumlines facing off against each other. So then Dr. Lee, he allows Devon to compete and play in the face off. And, because Devon put in that work, he got a chance to, he got a second chance in order to, to play with the band. So Morris Brown goes first, and then A&T responds. Morris Brown's second cadence includes their snares moving forward and playing on the A&T drums. But, Devon, he keeps his cool. He doesn't fight. He doesn't back down. They play their stick, their cadence. They throw down their sticks, mimicking the Morris Brown actions, and they end up winning. They end their entire routine in the face of Morris Brown drumline, but instead of playing on their drums, they all drop their sticks, and the judges award the win to A&T, y'all. That movie was so dope when it first came out. And in fact, Chance the Rapper told Nick Cannon that it's what inspired him, to learn how to play the drums and to become a musician. And Nick talks about it, how this movie is really inspirational to a lot of kids. But Chance the Rapper, he said he basically memorized the whole, the entire movie, and he blew Nick away with, how much trivia and how much, he knew about the movie. Because it was a really, really great movie. It showed, what perseverance, dedication, grit, and hard work will do. I loved, the supporting cast. I loved, Zoe Saldana's character, Laila, the dances and the majorettes with the band. I did. I loved the theme. J. Anthony Brown was hilarious. Shout out to P.D. Pablo and, all the HBCUs out there. So, y'all, Orlando Brown, he kills every role that he's in. I wish, we could see him act more. But after what happened with, his last situation, you know what I mean? And they booted him off the show. We haven't seen him since. So I hope he wasn't blacklisted, because they tend to do that in Hollywood a lot for actors who speak out, in terms of racism and things like that. But yeah, I really wish they would make some more movies highlighting HBCUs. I absolutely loved this. Drop down in the comments. Y'all let me know your thoughts. And I hope that you are enjoying this Throwback Thursday. Talk to y'all later. Bye.